It's very important that one of the main motivators in life is that you actually do what you want. My favorite philosopher is actually Nietzsche, but he was very inspired by Schopenhauer, and my favorite quote is you can do what you want, but you cannot want what you want. And it's so true. Like you can actually, if you want something, you can do it or not. If you have the courage or the energy to do it, you can do it or not. But you can never decide what it is you want, because either you want it or you don't.
I think for young architects, it's important, A, to care. Because if you don't care, it doesn't matter. B, to realize that we're not here to build for other architects. We're here to build for all of humankind in a way. And we're here to accommodate life and work of so many different people from so many different backgrounds. So that first of all, we really need to care about the people we are designing for, understand what their dreams and desires and priorities are. And then we have to use that understanding as the driving force of the work we put forward. Because the second we know what questions that are important, then all we have to do is answer them.
But you won't arrive at the right answer in the first go. So what you have to do is test and see how it actually works once you put the hypothesis into its consequence. Whenever we start a project, we will try to analyze what could be the key criteria in this specific situation. What's the most important issue? And then we try to make little design ideas that respond to those criteria. And then we try to mate the ideas. We try to see if we can combine maximum density with maximum views and sunlight, and see what does that look like. So almost in this sort of Darwinian evolution, we sort of select and combine different criteria, different parental ideas, get different offspring. Some of them turn into mutants, and some of them turn into really interesting hybrids. So it becomes like this sort of evolutionary process, but it's also a quite wasteful process. You have to examine and investigate and test all these ideas. Everything gets questioned. Nothing is taken for granted. And you end up turning more stones than you would otherwise. And you end up having these accidental discoveries.
And when you dig deep enough, you also reach a certain point, the root assumptions. But once you start questioning those assumptions, the foundation of everything just collapses. And then that in a way frees you to look in another direction. It's almost like, you know, in Nietzschean terms, he talks about how you philosophize with the hammer. That you hammer on these different concepts or like values to see if there's actually any substantial underpinnings behind. And sometimes there's a value that is no longer valid. It's a hollow concept, and it shatters when you hit it with the hammer.
Good design is careful. Bad design is careless.
The moment we became architects, we made a very important inversion of evolution. Because evolution, according to Darwin, essentially is a principle that life has evolved by adapting to its surroundings. But 8,000 years ago, we became architects, and now life acquired the tools and the skills to adapt the surroundings to life. And if you can see it, if at a planetary scale, geologists are now saying that humans unquestionably have the power to transform the planet at a planetary level. With great power comes great responsibility. So we also really have an amazing responsibility and opportunity to really create the world of our dreams. Architecture gives architects and people the power to literally create the world that they would like to live in. And I think one of the things that's interesting, just to take a step back and really understand how fundamentally important architecture is that Right now, geologists talk about the age we live in as the Anthropocene. And the Anthropocene is this idea that maybe we're now living in a time where human presence is the strongest force of change in our geography, like rising water levels, accelerating wind speeds, rivers being dammed, valleys being covered in lakes, whole areas as being deforested, or desertification or agriculture. Like there's so much influence on the geography that is coming from human presence. And it's just funny, when you look at it, some geologists believe that the Anthropocene began in the 18th century with the advent of industrialization. But others actually speculate that maybe the Anthropocene started already 8,000 years ago, when we started domesticating animals and plants, and we became sedentary. We started settling, we're not roaming around. We were actually staying put. We made fields and fences for our cattle, and we started building buildings.